Okay, so here we go. The idea of American Studies was first introduced to me in 2011. I was in an American Literature and an American History course in the same semester. The concentration, being the oldest interdisciplinary study at the university, came off to me as a mythological creature that was hidden in O'Dowd Hall. And the rest of the university didn't know about it yet. Both embodied what American Studies looked like. We did historical research projects in my literature course, and we read Uncle Tom's Cabin in my history course. I did not see what was happening at the time. At this time, all American Studies meant to me was more work to do that did not fit into my schedule of a 21-year-old college student. So the last few weeks I was asked to write this keynote, and I could not decide what to write. I was thinking about, I could go on to tell about how this program was the most rewarding thing I've ever done. I could go on to tell you about my experience following punk rock across the state. All these ideas would have been great, but I feel like there's something missing. And there's something more to American Studies that you can't get from a class here at Oakland University. No offense. So I started looking at my favorite authors and musicians to get inspiration, the same stuff that I always look to. Some of you know I'm student teaching right now, so I go from Detroit. I student teach during the day in Detroit, and then I come up here and I teach at Seneca Middle School and Chippewa Valley School. So I sit in traffic on 75 at noon, at 4, at 5, at 6. So what do? I think about what I'm going to write for this. So I'm listening to one of my favorite punk rock bands called Polar Bear Club. And their song, Living Saints, the chorus goes, all my friends are living saints, broken still but never breaking ties. Then it hit me. I live American Studies. I was always living American Studies. And I am American Studies. And believe it or not, you guys live American Studies every day. So I was actually listening. In my downtime, I watch YouTube videos of interviews of punk rock bands because I have nothing better to do. And the lead singer of this band goes, we can intellectualize all we want, but until we step out there and we actually do it, it doesn't mean anything. So this is what American Studies looks like. The fancy term that defines American Studies is a broad understanding of American experience and an introduction to the practice of focused interdisciplinary study. I can explain that in simpler terms. American Studies participants look at what it means to be an American, looking through multiple disciplines. Here we mainly include history, English, political science, anthropology, sociology, art history, and music. We create new perspectives, theories, and ideas by crossing boundaries that we normally don't think of, in which many of their peers have displayed today. American Studies has so many components, or spheres, I cannot help but think of one of the most influential American writers, not to mention my personal favorite, and Professor Knutson's favorite, maybe, Emerson. I didn't know, I just assumed. In his essay, Circles, he states, our life is an apprenticeship to the truth, that around every circle another can be drawn, that there is no end in nature, but every end is a beginning, that there is always another dawn risen on mid-noon, and under every deep, the lower deep opens. This passage really relates well to the meaning of American Studies. Each circle represents a different perspective or a different disciplinary. When we get to the end of a circle, we get closer to a new truth or understanding of that topic found in the center. Meanwhile, we also get closer to a new circle, which represents a different discipline, a different perspective. I think Emerson would agree with me when I say that I definitely think that these circles overlap. They must. How do we get to them? If only we could ask. I tried to make the circles kind of like ovals and connect to each other, but they just look like Easter eggs. So now you have to be thinking, how does this relate to me? I know I was asking myself that question 2 years ago. I believe that my favorite Emerson quote speaks to us, the individual. The eye is the first circle. The horizon which it forms is second. And throughout nature, the primary figure is repeated without end. We are the center of the sphere. We are the center of thought. We are the center of our perspective. Like Emerson would say, we are the center of the universe. We branch out into different circles for new thoughts and different perspectives. It is our duty to chase it. Each one influences us differently. Each one influences us equally. Each one shapes who we are. When I look at the diagram that I have, I see myself in the project. I could put myself in the center of the project.
Oh boy.
Yes.
Here I am with everything that influences me, my thoughts, my beliefs, and motives. I had to leave out a lot for readability. But as you can see, there are tons of things that make up who we are. Emerson would say, the life of man is a self-revolving circle, which from a ring imperceptibly small, rushes on all sides outwards to new and larger circles, and that without end. Each one is as important as the next, and some of them definitely overlap, just like there are several things that make up American studies. By looking at this, you can already place some of these into disciplinaries found on the page before. Of course, one of my spheres is American Studies. Without that sphere, I would not be here, but it would not have been possible without the others. And that's my American sphere.
Aww. That's real cute. Look at him.